So one of the components was so many business owners say, do I need influencers? Do I need to get in front of the camera? Am I an influencer? And I'm like, nobody can be as influential for your business as you.
Today I have one very special guest. I want to take it back to when I was 18. And I knew absolutely nobody in the industry, knew nobody other than doing teeth whitening. And I was just like, I think the wedding industry would be a really good opportunity for teeth whitening. So I emailed some people in the industry, especially Wendy, and nobody responds to me. But the one person that responded to me was Wendy. And she said to me, why don't you come to an event? I've got this event happening at the town hall.
Yes, at the tea room. At the
tea room.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know that you can actually invite friends with you or bring one person with you. And I go on my own. I know nobody. But what it actually did is, because I went on my own, it actually taught me to go out and meet people, and you have to do it on your own. So thank you so much, and I'm so happy to have you in today.
Thank you so much for having me. And yes, we do go way back, and to see your incredible business and how far you've come and your confidence, starting from that, coming to that event all on your own, wide-eyed, who do I speak to and what do I do? But by the end of it, you walked out with a few contacts and off you went, hey?
I remember I said, can you introduce me to this person, this person? And, I'll never forget those days, and you never forget where you came from. So it's just incredible to have you here today.
Thank you.
And I see you as such a good friend now, and business, we're really close in business. We on a lot in the wedding industry. And I want to get into it today and talk about everything that's going on in your life, because there's so much going on. You have so many different businesses now. And so let's obviously start at Wedded Wonderland.
Yep.
Tell me all about it.
So Wedded Wonderland started as a dream to connect couples with the industry.
Yeah.
7 years ago, I was a wedding planner. So I was planning a lot of weddings in Western Sydney and was seeing that so much was happening in the industry, but there was no real platform that allowed businesses to celebrate what they were doing. Nobody was really on social in weddings, which is crazy thinking about that now. And a lot of couples, particularly those in the cultural and luxury market, weren't really being featured anywhere. Mm-hmm. There was never a bride that looked like me on the cover of a magazine. So I thought, let's create a Wedded Wonderland. Let's create a fantasy where couples and businesses can come and have a look at what's happening in terms of trends, in terms of ideas, connecting international businesses, and off it went.
And the weddings that you associate with, and a lot of the weddings that you do, are huge Lebanese, cultural. Lebanon, it's so big over there. So you brought it to Australia.
We are sort of credited for invigorating the luxury market in Australia.
You are.
And Wedded Wonderland, when we started, we weren't aware of what we were doing. Yep. We weren't aware that the industry was, we knew that there were so many incredible suppliers, but we didn't know the gravity at which these businesses needed assistance in marketing themselves, in understanding how to share content, in how to attract business and leads. And so very quickly we were receiving 100 inquiries a day. We grew to 100,000 followers on Facebook in 6 months. It was a very, very quick growth, and me catching up going, is this a business? I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm doing here, you know? So it took a while to understand the dynamics of media because I don't come from media as well.
Definitely. And when did you pull away from the wedding planning to Wedded Wonderland?
I pulled away when I fell pregnant with my first child and I couldn't run around and plan weddings on the weekend. So I was doing weddings in 2010 to 2012, 2013. Yep. I started Wedded Wonderland as my side hustle to kind of, like I said, celebrate what people were doing in the industry, and very quickly it took off. And coming from the industry, being passionate about seeing couples get what they want, and introduce them to the right suppliers. I was doing that offline. I started doing it online,
and you were one of the first to start Instagram. Yeah. I was going back when I remember when I started my business, it was literally you, Diane, and Stephen. Yeah. Pretty much the three that only had Melissa had
Yeah.
Melissa had Instagram.
Yeah.
But other than that, it wasn't big.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are the ones who made Instagram and made the culture of what the industry is now today.
Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing because I've worked with all of those businesses, and so funny, I actually ran a Instagram workshop 6 years ago, and back then everyone was like, but we're told that we need to use Facebook, and like, what's this Instagram? This is so stressful. And one person who attended actually thought that I founded Instagram. Like, she was like, so you don't own Instagram? I'm like, what? So it was so funny. And now obviously everyone's on and understands, and now we're onto TikTok, we're onto other platforms.
Are you on TikTok now as well?
We are on TikTok.
Yeah. Are you on Twitter?
Not on Twitter because we're a visual industry, so we don't find it's as necessary.
There's no point.
But Pinterest is something that's working really well for our business now. So, we've recognised the need for a multi-channel approach on social media. It's definitely not, you can't rely solely on one platform to drive business, as you would know. Yeah.
You need everything. Plus, you need to be personable with a lot of, like, you got to still know people. You got to go out there. You got to do things. It's not just social media these days.
No, and you have to be dynamic. And I think, people don't realise that social media is a reflection of what's happening in your business. You can only fake it to a certain point.
Yes, I agree.
You have to have a dynamic dialogue with your audience and show them what you're doing behind the scenes, how you're working with your clients, what they are saying and feeling about your business. It's a conversation. It's not just you being all fabulous, it's not about that. So,
and you can tell with you because, your events that you put on, you have like hundreds and thousands of people that come. Like, I remember
I miss events. I miss events so much.
I talked at one of your events and I looked around the room and I swear there was at least 1,000 people there. Incredible. And, all people that want to go grow in business.
Yeah.
Like, you have such an amazing network of people in your network that what you've created is unbelievable.
Thank you. And I think, for us, it's always been, my background's in education, so it's always been about...
Sorry, you're a teacher.
I'm a teacher, yeah. So I've always wanted to drive the industry through education. And so hosting seminars and workshops, and you've spoken at Inspire twice, is really important for us. So that's our B2B side of things. And then we've had Wedded World, the Bridal Bazaar, which you've been a part
that was
of.
Incredible.
And, last year we had 1,200 people at the Hyatt Regency.
You couldn't even move there.
You couldn't move. Yeah. And this year, unfortunately, we can't host it, but that means we've had to pivot and come up with a new way of creating, a dynamic connection between businesses.
What is it? What's the new way?
So we're launching an online Wedded Wonderland concierge.
Yep.
And basically that's twofold. So we have the opportunity of businesses giving us promotions and incentives exclusive to Wedded Wonderland in the premium market that our database can access.
Wow.
So that's really exciting because we're finding businesses right now, they need leads.
Yep.
And a lot of the businesses we work with are known, so Sparkling White Smile is something that our audience is very familiar with. But if you came to us with a great incentive, I'm sure, we'd be able to generate a lot of leads for you.
Yep.
And that FOMO factor is really important for a long shelf life industry. And then the other side is couples are more than welcome now to contact us if they're looking for certain suppliers. And we basically have a filtering system and we can introduce them to people in the industry, which we've been doing for years. We've just never streamlined it, never had it as a product.
Yep.
And we've just realised that now more than ever, the couples need us. So
they do.
That's launching next month.
They do. I don't know what it will be like for you, but for us, we don't even have that many couples.
Yeah.
We've had to cancel so many and reschedule. I could only imagine what it's like for you guys.
We have been inundated.
Yeah.
My empathy levels and my emotions and, feeling for businesses who have really struggled during this time, for couples who've had to postpone 2 or 3 times. We've had couples contact us who have had to put mortgages on hold, IVF plans. This is a big deal. It is a milestone moment. And all we've requested from our government, and I've been advocating and really trying to be the voice of the market. We've really been pushing for a roadmap for the industry and have successfully gotten somewhere. I had to meet with the Shadow Health Minister. I had to, it's just a lot has had to happen behind the scenes. So basically where we're at now is a 4 square metre rule in New South Wales. We have enabled dancing to a certain extent with the bridal party.
And just the bridal party?
Just the bridal party for now. We were meant to open up as of August 1st, but there is a little bit of apprehension due to what's happening in Victoria, so we'll see what happens. And I think right now, because there's a health issue, we just need to be a little bit patient.
I agree.
And communication, we don't have all the answers. I have no idea what's going to happen, but having somebody speak to couples and just say, we're here with you, we will inform you, I think is really important. So.
Well, as I said, one of my girlfriends she was supposed to get married in October, and she has been so stressed over the I'm sure everybody has, and now she's pushed it back to March, but I just watch it in her face.
Yeah.
And it's just the main thing is, she says to me, Ali, the main thing that my family want to do is dance. So if we can't dance, we're already a married couple, we have a business together, we live together, etc., etc. If we can't dance, what's the point of having a wedding?
Well, we've been fighting for the fundamentals of weddings to not be pulled, from give something. So, we were asking for half an hour increments on the dance floor, a 1 to 4 square metre rule on the dance floor, which basically means a quarter of capacity.
Yeah.
Breaking up the dance floor. Like we've pitched everything that we possibly can, because, a wedding is a celebration, it's a celebration of not only two people coming together, but two families. And friends and units, and so dancing is a massive deal, and it's a massive component.
And when do you think it's going to come back on?
Look, if Victoria cases do not spread and are contained, I think we need to give it at least 2 weeks before we get answers. For New South Wales, I think, Gladys Berejiklian is going to be conservative. However, she does not want to disable our industry any further, just like any of the other industries. Yesterday, we were waiting for an announcement. We were hoping that restrictions weren't coming back. They're being extra cautious, but they definitely don't want us going backwards. So we are in the middle of a pandemic. This is a global, predicament, and the unknown is where the anxiety comes from.
Exactly.
These couples who just don't know, like couples in September and October who've had to postpone from March and don't know if they can dance, it's very frustrating. Soon, hopefully.
Let's fingers crossed.
Yeah, I've had brides now invite me to their wedding. I had one say, if we can dance, you're going to be at my bridal party. I'm like, woohoo, I'm there. So we just hope that these, they can have the wedding of their dreams. That's all they want. It's so much money, so much time, so much energy.
Yeah, and so much planning, years on end.
Yeah.
Oh, it breaks my heart to hear it. Like, honestly, I've been watching you and how much you've been doing behind the scenes, and you have been the voice of the industry. It's incredible. They need people like you.
I had to step up. There's nothing, even at times when I felt like crying, I was just so overwhelmed. At this point, it's really important that we are leaders, and that we are the voice of our industry, and that we advocate for what we do. We can't have this amazing platform and have hundreds of thousands of followers and not do anything when they need us. So it's time to give back.
You have definitely done it.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to take a break.
Okay.
And then we're going to come back and we're going to dive into all the other businesses you have.
Let's do it.
Are you wanting a dramatically whiter smile? If you're a coffee drinker or a lover of red wine, then Sparkling White Smile's Premium Ultra White treatment is for you. The Ultra White treatment consists of 2 sittings 1 week apart. This headlining treatment is tailored to leave your teeth up to 14 shades lighter post-treatment. For bookings and inquiries, send an email to info@sparklingwhitesmile.com.au. That's info@sparklingwhitesmile.com.au.
So I really want to dive into how you have pivoted over the last 7 years and how you've come from the wedding industry and now you're in business. Like, you're in teaching people how to do business, startups.
So I think because I learned so much with Wedded Wonderland and having that background, and understanding along the way what changes were taking place in social media, digital content strategies, how to drive traffic online, generate leads, run events, sell out events, all of these kinds of things. I thought, well, this is obviously something that businesses need to be aware of, and I'm learning on the ground. So as soon as I would learn something, I would jump on Wonderland Media, do a live about it, be like, guys, I just discovered this on Instagram. So with your stories, if you add a text box asking for people's email addresses, you may actually be able to generate leads. leads, like today, go do it.
Yeah.
So this was kind of like an ongoing thing that was happening with our business.
And it was like a side thing for you, is that right?
It was always just something I was super passionate about. When we started, I actually was working as a consultant. I worked with Stephen Khalil, with Susan Avery, GM Photographics, so some of the really big names in the wedding industry. And we were hosting social media workshops in 2013, 2014, when people didn't didn't even know how to set up a Facebook page. I would go into businesses, and a lot of the times free of charge, just sit there and be like, set up your Facebook. Like even now when I go into a cafe or a retail store, I'm like, so guys, where is your social media placement? Let me have a look at you online. Okay, I couldn't find you. So I'm just very passionate about businesses being able to be found online, because this is what drives the online and the offline success of a business today. So
I'm going to butt in. I remember back years ago when you come up to me and you're like, I love your business, but you need better content.
Yeah.
It was literally...
Did you cop it from me a lecture?
Yeah. You're like, I want to promote you and I really want to be a part of it, but you're like, you need better content.
Yeah.
And when I started to realize, I'm like, I actually do need better content. Instagram started to become better. Followers started to become better. And taking your advice, today, here we are. Do you know what I mean? But that was one of the best things you ever told me. I was like, because I would just put the ugliest before and after photos up just of these teeth. Yeah. And you're like, Ali, no.
Tell the story. What's happening? How are you visiting these people? You have to showcase that you're mobile. You have to showcase
show the
behind
the scenes. You have to show that you're busy. And I was like, really? No, I'm really like not like that. And then I started doing it. Yeah. And your business does blow up.
It does. It does. And I think that the scariest thing for a business owner is to get in front of the camera, because people think they need to talk about themselves. No, you need to talk about what you're doing, how your day is going, how you're feeling, what your clients are saying, what your product is. You know, as soon as you get a business owner to talk about that,
they love it.
They love it. So,
and people actually like seeing what you're doing.
Yeah, of course they do, because that's how they go, you know, Alison's team, actually, there is a team out in, you know, Wollongong that I can visit or they can come to me. So this is amazing. So how are they meant to identify that? Through your bio? I mean, there's only so much you can write, and people don't read, guys. Like it's about that visual content, the video content, where they really get to understand what your offering is.
Well, believe it or not, the other day we put up because I get a bit annoyed always reposting all of the behind the scenes jobs. So I don't do a lot of them anymore, but I wanted to see what our clients or our audience wanted to actually see. And I said, do you want to see before and after photos, or would you rather see behind the scenes? And we got 50-50. Wow. It was exactly the same. And I'm like, wow, people actually like seeing all the jobs that we do. But we don't post all of them, of course. But the ones that they do post, they're engaging. Like it doesn't turn them away. Yeah, because people resonate with people. Yeah. You know, and for your business, what you just did was an online survey. Yeah. So this is so easily done through Instagram stories. Yeah. And this is research that you just conducted just like that, you know, through your social media platform, and you understand what people want. And that's using the platforms the right way. And that's how you do it so well. Yeah. Oh, thank you. You do it so you're always behind the scenes, you're always doing, you know, these chats. I've never done this kind of stuff before. It's never been anything that I wanted to do. But now that I'm out there and I have a voice for myself, I'm like, I have to do it. It's something that you have to do. I think you just have to have a voice for your business. Yeah. You know, I have, and as actually part of our Instagram refresh course, which we're launching next week, I'm allowed to say it. Please tell me about it. So one of the components was, so many business owners say, you know, do I need influencers? Do I need to get in front of the camera? Am I an influencer? And I'm like, nobody can be as influential for your business as you. Yep. And you don't, again, need to get in front of the camera and talk about yourself and, you know, what you're wearing that day, or what, you know, I've got 4 kids. Nobody wants to know that I'm changing 6 diapers before I leave the house. But it's one of those things that it is part of my life and my story and my personal journey. When it comes to my business, I need to talk about things that are relevant to the people that are following us. Yep. That's what it's about. It's really funny that you say that, because the other day, like, my partner is very private. And he's always like, have a private life, Ali, it's better, blah, blah, blah. And then the other day I was with my legal team. Yeah. And we're talking about it, and they were like, Ali, it's not, you can't do that. Yeah. Your life is not private, and it's never going to be. People like to see what you're doing, and unfortunately, that's what you've started and that's what you've created. You're an online business. And I was like, wow, it's so true. The two, how do you actually just be in the middle of both of it? I think you have to choose. You are in full control. Yeah. You have to choose what you're willing to share online, and is it relevant, and does it drive business for you? Does it drive interest to who you are and what you do? So many people know who I am, but they don't know
know much about, the ins and outs of my family and everything else because, again, they know I have children, but, how much do I need to share with my children for that to be relevant to weddings?
Yeah.
So it's really important, again, you build out a content plan.
Yeah.
How much, and we did this just a couple of weeks ago for my personal page, how much needs to be business related versus personal versus things that I'm interested in,
What would you say in
80-20 rule.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
If it's not business, a lot of mine's business because that's what a lot of people follow us both for.
Yeah.
But then again, the people still like to see a little bit behind the scenes.
Well, that's it. That's the personable approach. Otherwise, you're just like every other person who's looking fabulous all the time. It's like, well, hey, like this is actually what I'm up to. And, I just had this conversation with this person who approached me who wants to start a business and, I'm willing to share that online. So it's the real stuff that happens in your life.
And a lot of people, I'm sure you're the same. I get so many DMs from people wanting to start businesses.
Yes.
I'm sure you're exactly the same. And they always say, I don't think you're going to see this. And I'm like, what do you mean? I actually am a real person. I have my Instagram and I do read my DMs all the time. And I'm so happy to help you because I was once in that position.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that. They think that when you just become here, it's like, no, you're not available to talk to anyone or you can't help anyone.
I think it's about if you're going to slide into someone's DMs, come in with a purpose and come in with a question and with really what you want to do as opposed to just, hey, like I really want to start my business. Like, what can you tell me? Yeah. It's like, well, I don't know what you're doing. Like to give me more information, and obviously being time poor, like you want to be able to give them again, that advice. But if you are going to, contact someone that is really busy, come to them with the real question, with what you're actually focusing on. And I'm sure if they see it, they will respond to it, particularly if it's, if it's something that's interesting and you've actually pitched yourself. I think it's really important.
Do you think your new platform is going to help with this a lot?
I think, and people have watched me over the years and I have mums who like approach me in shopping centres when I've got like 6 kids hanging off me. Like, how do you do it? And I'm like,
just doing it, making it
I've
work.
like literally thrown my kids all in the shopping trolley, like whatever. So I think it's just really important to be real.
Yeah.
And, with the concierge platform, I think it's going to create a lot of business for businesses, which is what I'm so passionate about. I actually cry. I'm one of those people who, especially during COVID, I drive past restaurants that I, used to see packed and I'd drive past and there'd be 2 people inside and my heart would just break in a million pieces. I hate watching businesses shut down.
Yeah, same.
And because these are people's dreams and small businesses make the world go round. These are families who are sending their kids to school and, this is their passion. And with a lot of small business owners, I think so many of them are creative, incredible at what they do, but a lot of them don't have the business acumen and it's very lonely being a business owner. So
no one understands.
Nobody understands. It's us 3 o'clock in the morning going, that email, did somebody respond to that? So I think, trying to offer support, and that's what we're trying to do with Wonderland Media, having somewhere that they can come to, listen to what we're up to, give a bit of, a lot of the advice is online, but it's curated through us for the creative industries. I just think you just have to do whatever you can with the time you have to try and support people. And they watch us and they think she's so fly, she's so fabulous, she's so successful. They don't see the behind the scenes.
They only see the good days.
They see the good days, and that's the tricky part about social media. You don't want everyone to know that every day is a bad day, and it certainly isn't. But I think it's really important to advocate for small businesses now more than ever, and just try and support and try and give those words of wisdom, and hopefully we get through this.
Yeah, because a lot of both of our platforms are people in small business.
That's right.
And it's hard. Yeah. It's freaking hard. Again, we do have a lot of support by the government at the moment, which has been amazing. Every time I freaking do one what are they called?
The grants?
Yeah, the grants. Yeah. Another one. I'm like, this is so good.
Yeah,
but
we're very,
we're
very
in
lucky.
such a good country and we have such a good government that we're going to be okay. But it's still hard. It's not easy at all.
No. And I think, speaking to some of the really big business owners who are used to hosting 50 functions a week, for example, these guys have been working 30 years and haven't had a day off.
Yep.
It's very, very difficult. The adrenaline of it is very difficult to manage. Yep. And, it's given businesses that pause that they never would have had. It's a blessing in disguise. Yep. If you need to renovate, if you need to restructure, if you need to redo your website, now is the time to do it. And just take this moment as an opportunity to work on your business, because we are working in our businesses every day and it's incredibly challenging.
Do you think the coronavirus was great for your business essentially?
Look, I think it was, a shock. Yeah. The homeschooling component obviously was very challenging for me.
I've heard so many mums say that.
Yes. And, just watching businesses not know what to do. Yeah. And, the wedding industry, 85% of the wedding industry is small business, so 50% is sole trader. These are people who really own their own businesses and are coming at me in droves asking questions on how to review contracts. Mm-hmm. We don't, and this was one thing that we were advocating for quite early on, the litigation process around cancellation of weddings. Yeah. What happens?
What actually does happen?
These businesses don't have lawyers that they can call in 5 seconds.
Okay.
If somebody wants to cancel their wedding due to a pandemic, who's right and who's wrong? So there's a lot that's been learned business-wise.
And then they're going to the media about it, and they actually don't understand what actually happens at the business, because there's two sides to every story.
And let me tell you, media-wise, we were contacted so many times for negative stories. Yeah. And it's just so frustrating. You have, close to 40,000 couples that are in limbo currently with their weddings.
Wow.
There are 80,000 weddings that take place in Australia annually. And to have that happen and not have anyone want to talk about that side of things and say, who's lost their money? Let's find out who's had it worse. It's very challenging. Everybody has. Yeah. Businesses, personal, this has layers upon layers of impact, and we're actually not going to understand it until the cushion comes off and these grants slow down and the JobKeeper stops, and then as a business owner really reflect on how we can move forward and the viability of these businesses. And I'm just telling everyone to survive at the moment. Yep. Growth strategies and ideas. Yep. Fantastic. If you have an online business that's an e-com and a product that people want right now, which was the takeaway component in food, our hospitality, clients really were like, what do we do? We're like, takeaway, delivery, let's get on it. Let's create products that are going to work for this, particularly around family. And it did work.
It did.
But you have to pivot right away.
Really close. Yeah. Especially some of the big restaurants, Alison and all them. I went there pretty much, I think, twice a week over the coronavirus, and it was just because I love seeing them. I don't want them to go on. I don't want any business to go under. What I also did is I get a lot of DMs about businesses wanting to send me things, and over the coronavirus and forever, if I love the brand, I don't want them to send it to me. I'll support your brand. Yeah. Because we need to all support one another. If everyone wants to come out of it, we're not going to come out of it if we all don't support each other right now. Absolutely. And I think wherever you can right now, and actually in the influencer refresh, I talk about nano influencers, which is the new type of influencer. This is like a new thing. So it's basically somebody who has less than 10,000 followers, who is a real person that has, experienced your product or service and actually can talk about that from a real person perspective. Yep. And that's actually the most powerful influencer today, is somebody who goes to Alice twice a week, eats their food, and can actually say, I love this and I enjoy this. Yeah. So, well, I actually took on a new marketing guy the other week, and he was going through my manual, and he's like, Ali, I love that it says that, because in our marketing strategy, if we do an influencer, we don't give them a contract. So we will do their teeth, and in hope that they love our brand and that they'll promote for us. Yep. And he said any company that makes you do someone's teeth and they make them sign some contract, you don't automatically want to do it. Yeah. So he's like, some director in marketing, and he's like, that is the best thing I've ever seen. He goes, I don't like working with companies that make them, essentially sign a contract and tell them exactly what they want, because it's not real. People will feel it. Yeah, I think, if you are investing dollars. Dollars is different. It's a different thing for an ambassador. But what you're doing is influencer gifting, and influencer gifting is never guaranteed. Yes. And you never know how many posts you're going to get. And I think the better the product, the better the quality of service, the more inclined that influencer will be to share that content online. And that's what you guys do. Yeah. And I think because I said to him the other day, I go, does a lot of companies actually make them do that? And he goes, you get half. And I said, well, actually, if I do someone's teeth, originally they will always post because it's just the natural of what you do.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, because a lot of companies that do this, they don't do it the proper way or whatever it is. And I'm like, wow, it's so crazy how the difference in how people do things. But I think I would love people to know it's not, you don't need to make people sign a contract to do things. If they love your brand and they love what you do, they will post for you.
And I think it's that ongoing relationship as well. I think the mistake that a lot of people make with influencers is that one-trick pony, one-off gifting and go, come on, give me 1,000 posts. It's like, no, if you really want to have a relationship with that person and actually have longevity with them offline and online, you need to be able to offer something to them ongoing and hope that they, return.
Yeah, yeah. What's in it for the future?
Oh my God. I think we just need to all breathe.
Yeah.
And we, again, need to spend this time reflecting on our businesses, educate. There are a lot of courses online. We have our courses coming up, which I've mentioned.
It's so exciting.
So exciting.
It's for startup businesses?
Nerve-wracking. So the social media fundamentals is for those who are starting up on social, but they may have been around for a while. The Instagram refresh is really for those guys who are at a point where they're like, I don't know what to do with Instagram anymore. I'm not getting anywhere. My followers are going backwards. Yep. And essentially a lot of them are managing Instagram the way they were 2 or 3 years ago, and the platform has evolved.
It's different.
So it's kind of just like an update.
Yep.
But I think, now's the time to really support one another, and we just need to get through this year. And so the future for me is hoping that we can support as many businesses as possible and continue speaking on their behalf, advocating for the industry and celebrating weddings at the end of it, hopefully.
One big party.
One big party, yeah.
You are one of the most incredible women I have ever met. What is a bit of advice that you can give out to anybody watching this?
I think the most important thing, I was a project manager for 5 years for CommBank, got into weddings accidentally and somehow have stayed in this industry, and now I'm, an educator, in social media and digital strategy. So, your passion never leaves you.
Yeah.
It's about you finding it. And it's just so important that when you go to sleep at night, what's the first thing that you look at on your phone? What is it that you're interested in? What are you engaging with? What makes your heart race? That's your purpose. That's what you're meant to be doing. And you can't avoid that. And it's like the Jonah in the whale. You can go hide in that whale, but it's going to find you. And I think it's so important that, the sooner you recognize that and the sooner you can nurture that, the quicker and the easier your life will become.
You're so incredible. Thank you
so
much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. Yay, we did it.
We did it.